Hello Electroheads and welcome to a review of a car that I've been waiting for a very long time to come to the UK. This is the Leapmotor T03 and this is a first look in the UK at this car. Now, this is a car that costs less than £10,000 in China. So it's fair to say it's no Tesla Model 3, it's no Kia EV6, but it's something that's quite new and novel in the electric car market in the EU and the UK. Now, this is coming along to rival the likes of the Dacia Spring, the upcoming Renault Twingo, the upcoming VW ID2. It's a really exciting, really cute little car that's made as a partnership in Europe between Stellantis and Leapmotor. So all I want to find out today is, not is this the best car in the world, just is it a death trap? Is it going to kill me? Or do we finally have an affordable electric car that you can actually drive, that's fun, that's good, and that isn't going to try and kill you? Let's find out. The Leapmotor T03 looks as though it was designed by somebody who was asked to draw a Fiat 500, but has never actually seen a Fiat 500 before. It has some modern styling touches, such as its funky LED headlights, but it also has a touch of the 1990s about it, which I'm personally not complaining about. A decade when the Beano comic still only costs 35p. But this car is not so much Dennis the Menace or Billy Whiz, if anything, it's nipper, small, enthusiastic, and a little bit mischievous, intent on disrupting the status quo. I'm impressed that an electric car that's just shy of £16,000 has a panoramic sunroof and a fairly stylish set of 15-inch alloys. Its 37.3 kilowatt-hour battery can offer up to 165 miles of range in a combined city and motorway cycle, or up to a potentially impressive 245 miles of range in a city cycle. This battery is managed by a cloud-based BMS which Stellantis claim ensures it always operates at the optimal temperature range. Its motor pumps out 95 horsepower and a max torque of 158 Newton meters, so efficiency rather than speed is the name of the game, but it gets off the mark adequately. The model offers 3 driving modes, Eco, Sport and Standard. The regen braking and single pedal driving in Eco mode is right in the smooth spot for me. Sports mode offers faster acceleration, and lastly, Standard mode offers a balance between the two, with its softer regen braking allowing the vehicle to move slowly after the accelerator is released. There are also 3 steering modes which give a large degree of customization and flexibility separate to the drive modes. On the inside, there's not a huge deal to talk about. The styling is safe, if a little dull, but a 10-inch touchscreen and an 8-inch driver display are certainly the focal points. I'll talk more about the infotainment system later, but safe to say it does need some work. The driver and front passenger seats are comfortable and roomy, but it's a slightly different story round the back. Leapmotor are very proud of the headroom in this car, which is decent, but the legroom is inadequate for adult passengers of average height and upwards. For a quick jaunt across town, it's fine, but you wouldn't want to be in the back of this car for more than 15 to 20 minutes. That's somewhat of a symptom of the size of this car, which is unapologetically tiny, and the fact it comes from a market where the average height is smaller than in the UK. Anyway, time to take this little rascal for a drive. Okay, so with that spec and interior in mind, I think it's safe to say that this isn't a luxury car, but that's absolutely fine because the electric car market needs more cars that aren't luxury. The EV market needs a Ford Fiesta for the modern age. Traditional car manufacturers have almost totally ignored this type of car, an A-category electric hatchback. That's a problem because what we have is a flood of 40k plus EVs, mostly which are SUVs coming onto the market, mainly aimed at affluent families. And I think what we need is an electric car that's going to get a graduate to and from work for their first job, or a car that you could buy second-hand in 5 to 10 years' time and learn to drive in as an 18-year-old, or just a simple city car that's cheap and cheerful and that you can have as your second car. And this is pretty much what this claims to be. Leapmotor and Stellantis were massively giving it the beans about the value of this car in comparison to things like the Dacia Spring. And so we are going to take a look at the value and see if it is a value-driven proposition today, but I just also want to put it through its paces and see how it does. The launch event is in the countryside. I'm going down an incredibly steep and narrow country lane at the moment, and I do not feel like this is the natural habitat for this type of car, but with a range of about 120, 130 miles in the real world, you are going to take this out of the city, and it is capable of doing cross-city intercity driving and getting into the countryside as well. So it's interesting to see how it fares in conditions like this today. So we'll see how it does. So I have to say, my initial driving impressions, and the reason I'm driving very, very slowly right now, you must be able to hear this. The motor whir is so loud, and that really surprises me because this is an oil-cooled motor which should run much quieter than a water-cooled motor, for example. So the claim from Leapmotor was that it was a very quiet motor, and it is when you get up to a certain speed, which is almost 20 miles an hour exactly, but below 20 miles an hour, it's a very, very noticeable motor whir. And I have to say, after a while, it actually gets annoying. And the idea of living with this every day, this noise, under 20 miles an hour, which is the speed limit in most of London, so if you're buying this as a city car, you will have this noise most of the time. That is not great. Outside of that, I have to say, it feels like a very well-built, well-put-together car. It handles well, very responsive steering. It feels very, very solid and rigid. I always feel like the Chinese method is to go more for mass production, more for scale, and slightly less attention to detail. But here it feels like there's attention to detail, feels like everything has been well thought through, and it does feel like a good, solid, safe car to drive. Brakes are very responsive, so I'm actually impressed by all of that. So I think if you are looking for something that's basic, very comfortable, I have to say, although slightly tough suspension, but that's fine. This is a good option, and for £16,000, it feels, I would say, very much like it's competitive to the ICE cars that are in the market around that same sort of price point. So I find one area where EVs often beat ICEs is actually in the technology, infotainment system, driver assist, all of those sorts of things. So how is it on this car? Well, that's a fantastic question, viewer, and I have to say, my first impression is really annoying. There's a lot of bleeps and bloops that happen on a car, which would be great if it's a synthesizer, but it's not. It seems to alert you as to an oncoming collision anytime it sort of spots anything in the distance, like a bird or a plane or even just a twig in the road, which I'm sure you can turn off and you do get used to after a while, but that is slightly annoying me. It might just be a glitch on this car, but either way, not great. The touchscreen is responsive, but the screen itself gives off a ton of glare, and the operating system is a little janky. Some of the buttons and commands don't really seem to work, such as the button for opening the boot. Some of those annoying beeps can be turned off, but even when I do turn them off, they seem to still happen. You pretty much have to turn the lane keeping assist off because there seems to be no position in which the car is happy for you to drive. Even in country lanes where there was no white line, it still said I was too close to the white line. Most disappointingly, there's no DAB radio and there's no CarPlay, so you're stuck with the car's navigation system, which does feel quite outdated, and I don't feel confident about how it would deal with traffic updates or changes to road layouts. I love the way this car drives, but the infotainment system is 2 out of 5 at the moment. Hopefully, this can be addressed through OTA updates later down the line. So look, this is a first drive. It's not a full review. We only get a couple of hours with the car. So I'm not going to be able to interrogate everything about it, but there's not really much to interrogate about it. My mission today and what I set out with was just to see whether this budget electric vehicle, which is sub £10,000 in China, obviously a bit more here, and it is manufactured in Poland by Stellantis, so that's why you're paying a little bit extra in Europe and the UK. I just wanted to see if it was a death trap or not, and it's not. I'm pleasantly surprised. It feels like a well put together car, like I've said. So in a way, I think that's mission accomplished for Leapmotor. So the thing Leapmotor are really driving home in the marketing for their new cars in the UK and Europe is the value proposition. So this is just one spec. They just have a top spec and that's it. They're making it simple for people who are coming into the world of EVs for the first time, which is great. And I think that simplification is a good thing. And people will say, but it's actually more expensive than the Dacia Spring by £1,000. Well, actually, the spec you get on this for just under 16k is about the same as the higher spec Dacia Spring. It actually has more than the higher spec Dacia Spring because it's got a longer range and it has alloy wheels, it has more power as well, so it's got a better 0 to 60. So Leapmotor's claim is, yeah, go and drive a Dacia Spring. Drive this as well and see which one you prefer. That was the risk of collision system coming in again there. I can say that actually I would prefer not to have that, and I thought I'd switched it off. So that might be a tick in the box for the Dacia Spring. But I see where Leapmotor are going. They don't need to be necessarily the cheapest car on the market, but they want to be the best value car, and they want to create a car that actually people with a bit more money to spend might lean towards this just purely because of the value proposition, and it might have more for them than a more expensive car. So look, yes, the infotainment system's a bit janky. Yes, the bleepy bloops are a bit annoying. And yeah, maybe the motor whir is incredibly loud, under 20 miles an hour. But this car drives well, it's got character, everything feels solid and well built. And because of this joint venture between Stellantis and Leapmotor, so Stellantis own 51% of Leapmotor International, which is the non-Chinese version of Leapmotor, let's say. You are getting a Chinese car with their kind of economies of scale and access to cheap parts for something that is then built in Europe, so it has all the benefits that come with that for people who are living in Europe or the UK. And you're getting something that benefits from the Stellantis dealership network, the distribution network. You know that you've got a 4-year warranty, you know you can take this somewhere for servicing, and you can put down a £199 deposit on this car and pay £199 per month for 4 years, 0% APR. At the end, you give this car back. And I think for 200 quid a month, 0% APR, this is actually a really great little city car to have. Actually, it's a bit more than a city car, it's more capable than that. Well, Electroheads, sadly, it's time for me to give this diddy, cute little car back to Leapmotor. And I have to say, this car has a lot of charm. I've really enjoyed driving it, and as you know from watching this video, I think it's a really, really important car on the electric car market in the UK and in Europe, and I think it's a big step forward in general for electric cars in the UK and the European market, and it makes me excited about what there is to come. We need to make the electric car market more accessible for more people, and at £200 a month for this car on a PHP deal, that's actually really good. PHP? PCP is what I meant. That's good value. This is a very good value car. And I implore you to go to your local dealership, because you can do that, because there are loads of dealerships stocking it, and take it for a little test drive. All that's left for me to say is if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you're still watching and you haven't subscribed by now, do it right now. And also, most importantly, have a great day. Thanks for watching.